Did I say Swedish?
Sorry.
Let me try that again.
Go ahead.
I'm totally confused.
No worries.
We're in Korea? I forget.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Nice to Meet You. Our guest today, a very, very busy conductor. We're lucky to have him with us this week. Welcome, Maestro Alan Gilbert.
Thank you very much. It's a great, great pleasure to be here.
Thank you, as well as for me, and I'm so happy that we could sit down and chat a bit. Before we dive into the program this week, why don't you tell us a little bit about your history with South Korea? Have you been here many times?
Not many times, but when I've been here, it's, I would say 2 or 3 times. I've really, really loved it. Well, interesting, desirable, important to come work with a Swedish orchestra. Of course, I know many did I say Swedish?
Sorry.
Let me try that again.
Go ahead.
I'm totally confused.
No worries.
We're in Korea. I forget what day it is.
I know.
Oh, we're in Korea. No. No, to work with a Korean orchestra is fantastic. I know so many Korean musicians, of course, around the world. That
Sure.
Of course, in New York, growing up at Juilliard and everywhere. And understandably, there's so many wonderful Korean musicians, and to have them all working together in an orchestra is just an exciting thing for me.
First piece on our program is Unsuk's Frontispiece. Tell us, because you're very connected to this piece, tell us how this piece came into existence.
I've been doing Unsuk's music for a long time, many years, and I find her one of the most fascinating composers working today. She's unique. She has an incredible way with building sounds and creating atmosphere. I've often described her music as kind of like folk music, but not folk music from any place that you could really identify. It's like her own world imagination, and she creates sound worlds and atmospheres and characters and stories that are intensely personal. And she's highly skilled as a composer, and the craft of writing is something that she's a total master of. And so it's always been fun to do her music. And when I was starting out as chief conductor in Hamburg at the Elbphilharmonie Orchestra, nice symbolic way to start my tenure with a commissioned work, a new piece. And of all the composers I've worked with, she was the one that I was most hoping would agree to write a piece. Such a wonderful composer who's originally from Korea and who feels such a strong connection to Korea. I feel it's a wonderful statement to be able to do her music, and the orchestra really, I think, is taking well to the piece.
Oh, yeah. Okay, next piece on the program is Shostakovich Cello Concerto number 1. First of all, have you worked with this soloist before, Kian Soltani?
Never.
Oh, this is your first time?
Yeah,
okay.
No, I've admired him from afar, and so it's very exciting to be able to work together. It was kind of a fortuitous pairing, and I'm happy it worked out.
Oh, yeah. And so you told a very interesting story today in rehearsal, and I wonder if you could just talk about that.
It's always good, I think, to get the subtext when you play pieces. That symphony, whichever one it was, I think it was 14. Anyway, it's the rhythm that goes in. You hear that a lot, and also Shostakovich famously has his own little signature motto with a D, E flat, C, B natural, which he calls H, so D, S, C, H. So that's those are his kind of initials for his name, Dmitri Shostakovich, D and da dee da da. You hear that a lot. I mean, there's the 15th symphony where he transforms it, and it becomes a very sardonic, witty kind of reference to William Tell Overture.
Okay.
But that's another story. It doesn't feel that way in this piece. It's very dark, and you feel like, okay, I have to be really careful, and it creates a wonderful kind of excitement.
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, and finally on our program we have Dvorak's 8th Symphony. about this symphony was maybe different in the time, or compare it with his earlier symphonies?
Unsuk has her folk music, but Dvorak definitely comes from a folk music tradition. And there's something just so evocative and so characteristic about the melodies and about the dances, the Slavic, Eastern European feel. Amazing to me. I love his music. It's endlessly inventive. It's so natural and it just feels so human. This optimistic, fresh, beautiful G major symphony is like a walk in the park.
Sure.
It's not to say that it's unrelentingly happy, very sentimental and thoughtful and emotional sections as well. It really has everything, but overall, the mood of the piece is positive and I would say optimistic and definitely lighter than the seventh. Also a great work in its own right.
The Ninth Symphony is so popular in Korea, and so we play that a lot, so it's nice. It's really nice to hear the Eighth. This is our first matinee concert. How do you feel about playing at 11:30 in the morning?
Well, I'll try to get enough sleep so I can wake up and be fresh. It's not an unfamiliar time for me to do concerts.
In America it's quite...
In Hamburg, and actually in quite a number of cities in Germany, there's a tradition of doing concerts at 11 on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
And I guess it's kind of a church substitute.
Sure.
I don't know.
Okay,
It's anyway the time that otherwise people might have been going to church. I don't know. I personally like morning concerts. There's a kind of freshness that you feel being marketed in the right way, because actually it's a wonderful time to hear.
All right, well, thank you so much again for sitting down with us. Very much looking forward to playing with you, and don't miss the concerts. They're going to be great.
Thank you. I hope to see you all in the concert hall, but I also hope you all like and subscribe the YouTube channel of the KBSSO.
Perfect. Oh, thank you so much, Maestro.
Close enough?
That was great.